Good morning, everybody. It's me, Jonathan Thompson. Welcome back to another episode of Market Menace Trading. Shout out to the Menace Militia. Absolute pleasure to trade for you guys today. A lot of big movement. A lot of really important things are going on this chart, particularly with XRP. That's what we're going to be looking at and trading today. Currently in a trade right now that I just entered over. Entry price was $74.67. Currently up about $34 on that trade. So we will see what happens. Right now it's kind of consolidating right in the end of this symmetrical triangle here. And this is on a very zoomed in time frame. This is the 1 minute chart you're looking at here. If I get the break here and I start to see some bullish break of structures, then at that point I will start mitigating my stop loss, particularly when I take this area out, but especially when I take that area out, assuming that we do. That's going to start breaking some very, very important areas. We've already had some very significant candle closes, particularly because we just closed a 4-hour candle not too long ago. So I will go ahead and, while I wait for this to figure out what it's going to do, which means I don't really have long, I will show you a couple very important things that I'm starting to see. First, all right, here, let me go ahead and clear my drawings real quick. So we just have the bare bones chart here. Okay, so this is XRP's whole move, right? Really, really big, very, very powerful move. So if I run my inverse Fibonacci on it, which apparently it's not going to let me hide all my other drawings. It's just going to make me do it there. Let me go ahead and get rid of this then. Trying to keep all my fair value gaps drawn. All right. So on the move down, or actually, no, I'm sorry. I'll start with the Fibonacci. Running the inverse Fibonacci, here's the point of the breakout at about 47 cents, rallying all the way to about 96 cents. And you can see that when we got that big pullback, a couple very important things happened. Number one, we created this huge fair value gap here, which we have now closed, actually. Let me go ahead and pull that down there. We have just closed this fair value gap this morning. Very, very important that we did that because it corrected a major imbalance in the market. There we go. Sorry about that. So we've mitigated this fair value gap. If we can get above it, I do think that there is a very reasonable chance that initially 78 is a good target. That's one of my targets for the trade I'm currently in. And if we are able to take out 83.37, yeah, 83.37, I think there is a very strong possibility that we will come challenge some of these other, these red lines here are historical resistance from months and years past, actually. And this was the swing high right here that we set the other day, right at about 96.74. So it's very possible that if we're able to start taking out some of these key areas right here, basically this little block of resistance here, if we're able to take those out, then there is a very strong possibility that we are going to be challenging $1. And that can happen very, very quickly. Another very, very important thing that has happened here is that after that huge rally, the pullback came down and held support right here. This was the low of the pattern so far, and that is at the 0.618 Fibonacci zone, the inverse Fibonacci zone, otherwise known as the golden pocket, which is the most significant area of support or resistance that traders use in order to determine whether or not something is going to get continuation up or if it's going to crash back down, which, make no mistake, guys, I'm not saying that XRP is guaranteed to rip here. Very bullish news what happened, but, you know, the amount of volume and the amount of volatility that XRP has gotten over the last 72 hours is out of this world. So at this point, we are doing moves. I mean, this move right here, this 4-hour candle right here, I mean, that's, you know, that's a move of 10%. You know, that's something that on average takes XRP for the last few years. It takes it 2-3 weeks to do a move like that, a week to do a move like that, and it did it in 4 hours. So the volatility is huge, relatively speaking. So all of that to say that we are not even close to out of the woods here. We are, sorry, we have mitigated the bearish fair value gap that we created here. And also there's something else on this chart that's also very important that we are trying to challenge right now. So aside from this, that's gone now. We also have a much larger bullish fair value gap here, which we are currently testing the top of. And that's going to have to get broken if we are going to have any hope of continuation. Now, fair value gaps, bullish fair value gaps are fantastic for entries. You know, after you get a strong, powerful move to the upside, it creates a huge void in this market. The price will almost always come back down to try to mitigate that fair value gap before it makes its next decision. In order for markets to move, they need liquidity. Liquidity is fuel. It's the fuel that they need in order to fuel the next move. Or I'm sorry, wow, I need a thesaurus. The point is that large pools of money were waiting in this area, buy orders that never got a chance to get filled because it was such an aggressive move. So as of right now, we are trying to test the top of that, which I think is a pretty reasonable move. I think that we can probably get that done relatively quickly. Sorry, I'm also trying to monitor my trade. I'm up about $21. Looks like we're having a bit of a pullback. So I'll zoom back in on that. But the point is that the return, the pullback here is a healthy return. That's what I'm trying to say. We held support on the golden pocket. We are above the golden pocket, getting separation. We are breaking this key trend line here. As of right now, that's what we're doing. There's no guarantee that that's going to continue. We have closed the bearish fair value gap that was created on this 4-hour candle, and we are trying to exit the bullish fair value gap after mitigating it. And I believe that this is a sufficient amount of mitigation in order to make it so it doesn't attract the price any further. That being said, there is also this very large gap down here from the breakout. Now, that's a big move. Boy, that is a huge move. I want everyone to understand how dangerous a move like that is, how big a move like that is. If it were to actually fill that gap, that's a 37% drop. And that can happen. Understand that, like, that can absolutely happen. It doesn't mean that XRP is going to die here in the immediate short term, or I'm sorry, that like a longer term time frame, but it does mean that that danger is there. Those are orders that didn't get a chance to fill. It's very likely, though, that being that there's such huge separation there, it's very likely that a lot of these orders have given up and probably tried to take positions on this candle, I would imagine. Judging by the fact that we didn't even come down to the very bottom of this fair value gap before trying to get the continuation to the upside. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys that. So ultimately, on the 4-hour chart, as long as we are able to finish our move outside of this bullish fair value gap, maybe getting some kind of support here, and then coming up to get the bullish break of structure of the 83.36 zone, there is a very good chance that we are going to come up and we're going to try to challenge the new, I guess, annual high that we set at 96.70. So that's what I'm looking for. That is the move that over the course of the next few days that is very possible. So that's a little bit more longer term. As far as my trade, as far as like a quick scalp trade or a in and out, day trade, let me just zoom in on that and I'll show you what that scenario is looking like and why I decided to take this trade. Okay. So actually, just a few hours ago at about 6 this morning, about 6 o'clock this morning Eastern, we did have this really powerful move up here. It did create a fair value gap here. But that is the move that broke us out of the consolidation pattern, right? Since then, we have not successfully set a higher high. We have been continuing to consolidate in hopefully what ends up being a continuation pattern. Hopefully it ends up being some form of a symmetrical triangle that results in, a breakout to the upside. But again, there is no guarantee of that. This is just a 1 minute chart. It is very possible that we get a pushback down here to confirm this breakout, which, of course is going to stop me out, but is actually a very healthy thing to happen. Because that in and of itself, that's a pretty powerful move. So going from here to here, XRP moved 5.2% this morning. So, and it had a pretty nice pullback too. It set a higher low, held support on the outside of this initially, and but as of right now, it has failed to set a higher high, higher swing high on any kind of significant time frame. So that's what I'm looking for now. That will give me some really good confirmation. The reason that I went ahead and took the trade is because after that big breakout, we started to put in higher highs and higher lows, and we have continued that trend right up until here. But very often, and remember, I'm on a 1 minute chart. So if I were to look at this on a slightly longer time frame, then it really hasn't done anything that's out of the norm here. It's very common after, a lot of selling pressure like you're seeing on these candles here. Very common after you see something like that, when you get the pullback, that you actually fail to set a higher high initially. But as long as you're setting a higher low, particularly in a well-defined consolidation pattern like this, it's very common to see it do that. As long as you continue, you're not really in trouble until you start setting lower lows. Until then, you have a chance to come up and, continue the trend, which I think is very, very likely given the volatility here and the power of this move. We know that the bulls are paying attention early this morning. So it's very, very possible that this move happens extremely quickly up to about 27, oh my God, 77, excuse me. And that will close officially the bullish fair value gap that we created on the initial run up the other day, okay, which is extremely bullish news for XRP. So looking at the 15 minute, I'm going to start looking for targets. I'm going to mark them. Honestly, I would mark this one, and it would count as a bullish break of structure, but this is the one that really matters. So that's the one that I'm looking for. However, if I take this out, it's a pretty good indication I'm going to take this one out. Okay. I have that there. Okay, so it's the same thing. I can see that I had interaction here, which caused the rejection here. So if I break this, I'm also breaking this, which is fantastic. I do on the 15-minute chart, I have a smaller time frame bearish fair value gap, which should attract the price. And then I am going to use this right here as my next target. And then honestly, every single one of these order blocks, every single one of these peaks here, these are all going to be significant areas of resistance. Each one of them is just as important as the next to break. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for on a bit of a longer time frame. But initially here in the 1 minute, I'm just looking for initial support over some key moving averages here. You can see my entry is right here. And let me go ahead and get my order box back in here. Okay, so right now I have my stop loss just below the liquidity here, just below the trend line liquidity. So now I'm starting to get the test here. My entry again was 74.67. We're up 47 on the trade. Looking for some continuation here. Going to have to set a higher high. It's not enough to just keep setting higher lows. You do have to eventually take out some of these areas. So I'm looking for the bullish break of structure at 75.06. I'm looking for it again at 75.27. And then right here again, if I start breaking these right here, that's when I'm going to start anticipating some form of continuation up to challenge the more important bullish break of structure at 76.25. Let me make sure that's perfect, actually, because that's very important. Probably right there. Yeah, 1 second. We're about to be visited by my 4-year-old son. Sorry, guys, 1 second.
Daddy, I can't find the plastic.
Okay. We have a video game problem. Come here. Let me see it. Let me see it. Come here.
I want the green instead.
Do you want to say hi to everyone? Just come say hi.
Hi.
Okay, good job. Tell them the 4 parts of a candle. Go ahead. Come over here. Come right to the mic. Tell them the 4 parts of a candle. What are they?
Open, close, high, low.
Open, close, high, low. Good boy. What are you looking for here, buddy? You want the classic race?
Yeah, I want
Okay.
the plastic ways.
Okay, there it is, right there.
So let's
There you go.
next.
Yep. Start race. Bye. Love you. Leo, ladies and gentlemen. Parent first. Trader second. Okay. Anyways, where was I? So I'm looking to go ahead and take out the swing high here. Initial target's going to be that 76.90, which gives me a really nice 4.25 to 1 risk reward, which is great. I mean, that's on average what you're looking for. And that's one of the cool things about using the smart money concepts to trade is, it allows me to have that type of risk reward, and honestly, if I was so inclined, I could bring the stop loss up right now and it would probably be relatively safe under here. But I'm just trying to avoid an initial liquidity sweep, like a sell side liquidity sweep, very similar to what happened up here with a buy side liquidity getting taken. And also down here, it happened a few times as well. So I'm just hoping to have my stop loss deep enough into the chart that I don't have to worry about it just a quick wick. Because that's a pretty significant move to do that. I mean, that's almost a 1% move in order to stop me out there. And I also have the benefit of being protected by a lot of moving averages here, not just on the 1-minute chart. I believe we are contending. Yep, right now I'm trying to get supported on the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA on the 3-minute chart, which is up in the air. Looking at the 5-minute, we should be having a significant interaction there. That's good. I'm also looking for the 15-minute 9 EMA to go ahead and act as support as well, and I'll show that to you. So that's what I'm looking to hold right there. There's been a couple of quick wicks down below it, but ultimately since having this initial breakout this morning, we have not had a 15-minute candle close below the 9 exponential on the 15-minute chart. So I think that that's a good sign. And I'm looking for some continuation here, looking for a nice move up. We're down about 14.8 on the trade right now. It's not terrible. Pretty normal. Within risk parameters, so to speak. About to close a 5-minute candle. And actually, we just closed an hourly candle. Let's take a look at that. So it was a very indecisive hourly candle there. See that? Very indecisive. So now we're going to have to set a higher low in order to get the continuation. There is a pretty significant imbalance here on the hourly. So actually, I will go ahead and mark that right there. So that is a bullish fair value gap. There are orders that did not get filled, and that price may very well come back down and try to do that. So I'm going to have to monitor this trade extremely closely. It does look like there is an area down there as well, and I'm not sure which one it is on the Fibonacci. Oh, I don't even have the Fibonacci on this. I'm so zoomed in, I can't even tell. Okay, looks like we're setting up the sell side liquidity sweep is what I'm hoping for just a quick wick down to like this range right here. I may try to protect a little bit more here just because that could be a really energetic one. I kind of want to put it like, I don't know, that's about 10 cents below the, or I'm sorry, not 10 cents, 0.001 cent below the current swing low there. So what I'm hoping is that I'm hoping to accommodate for any variance in people's chart interpretation here. What you're seeing right here, if this ends up re-entering the pattern, is basically just anybody who went long here or anybody who went long up here and they put their stop losses below the perceived trend line, that would be them getting taken there. So what I'm hoping, so that candle right there, that wick is pretty much the same as these. I'm looking for a quick re-entry, preferably after this candle, back into the pattern. And we wait. Looking for that push back in there. Okay. Okay. Going to need to close the candle above that. Got a nice cluster of moving averages here. It's kind of a double-edged sword when you have that, because it means that the initial area right here is very strong or stronger because it has all of those moving averages kind of like stacked together. But the good news is if you get one powerful move, you can get through all of them at once, and they very quickly turn into support. So hopefully this just ends up kind of being a head fake to the downside to go ahead and sweep some liquidity. It might have to be a little more powerful, actually, because it is at the end of the pattern. I can tell you this, it's not going to consolidate anymore, at least not in this range. I do fear the pull down to here, down to 73.33, because that would, I mean, number one, that would just, as far as my trade is concerned, it would stop me out. But overall, I actually think that's a pretty healthy move. I would like to just see a higher low get put in here. But, I mean, even a touch of this moving average here, I believe that's the 100 exponential moving average from the 1 minute chart, I would actually be okay with. Okay, we are now trying to hold that support right there. Okay, so it looks like we're trying to get the bounce on the 15-minute 9 exponential there. Kind of hard to see. Right there. So it looks like that's what we're trying to hold. So far, this move looks very similar to what we've seen here and what we saw here as well. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. 5 minutes is a lifetime. A lot can happen in 5 minutes. Looking at the 1 minute. Yeah, we're almost assuredly going to get a push down of some kind. Definitely going to get some interaction here at 74.19. Hopefully that ends up being the support. I actually want that move. I want to see that happen. I want this to push down here right now and then bounce straight back up, or at least correct very, very quickly, like within a few minutes. Yeah, we're definitely coming down there. Okay. All right. We haven't quite gotten there yet. Okay, so if that moving average fails, I don't believe I have any additional support here. We're also getting an interaction right now. There is an order block here. This is where, and I'll go ahead and draw that here. This may end up being the more important support. So I'll go ahead and put that blue. Hopefully everyone can see that. The last time we were down here, we double bottomed into it and went ahead and held. So I want to see that hold. I'm very glad that I moved that stop loss because this does kind of feel like a head fake. If we can get a bullish engulfing candle here to go ahead and cover this candle, preferably getting back above the 9 exponential moving average and breaking this little temporary downtrend that we have right here, preferably that would be ideal. I would like to see that. Okay, so we've engulfed it at this point, but the body needs to engulf it, not just the wick. Decent candle. Okay. I'm looking for some sort of a reattack here, here on this trend line. I mean, this is actually very common. Bitcoin does this a lot as well. When you get to the end of a, of a consolidation pattern, it will very often give head fakes. It did it a little bit here, and it will do it. It will usually do it with anywhere from like 15 to 25% of the pattern remaining. So when the price needs to go like another 15% down the pattern, that's relative to the apex of the pattern, which is where these two trend lines convert right here. Okay. It looks like a rejection here, but actually that's not a terrible candle because, I mean, number one, it's putting in higher highs. And it is still trying to push. So I think we'll probably take this out here and then come up and challenge these moving averages. I would like to see it re-enter the pattern. My stop loss is a little too deep at this point. If it's going to fail here, then it's almost assuredly going to fail here. So I can probably get away with, I want to mitigate my risk as much as possible, but still give me the best possible chance to stay in the trade for as long as I can. But that looks like a pretty decent order block. This move down is not as violent as this move down was. And this order block held. This is actually stemming from back here. And probably also from this swing low here. Right here. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it's doing. Okay, well that's good. So, I mean, that means that this order block has held once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and if it holds here, it means that it has held 5 times. Luckily, we had this big candle right here that took out the bullish, most of the bullish fair value gap here, because if that didn't happen, I would actually not trust. I don't think it would have held here at all. So, basically, another way of saying that is that the bullish fair value gap here below the price has been mitigated, so there's no reason to attract it down there, at least for that fair value gap. Obviously, we still have this large one down here. Okay. Bit of a hesitation. Probably going to try to confirm support once again on the 9 exponential moving average on the 1-minute chart here. It's not bad. Looking for a change of character, which is going to happen when if we take this little swing high, or excuse me, this swing high right here out at 74.62. So that will be the change of character, and then I will start looking for bullish breaks of structure. I will start looking for higher highs and higher lows to start being put in, and if I can start to see that even on a very small time frame within this pattern. My guess is that this pattern isn't going to have a lot of significance if we re-enter it, just because it's already been broken to the downside, it's already been broken to the upside, and we are at the end of it. We might get a hesitation here. I can see that we've only closed a 1-minute candle one time outside of the top of this downward trending resistance. So that's what I'm looking to improve on. I want to see that. Yeah, we've actually only closed that one there, and that one there. Other than that, it's actually been pretty strong resistance. So maybe I should retract my previous statement, because a lot can go wrong right there. We did just get the market structure shift when we took this swing high right here out. So now we got to hold support over it. And if we don't, I'm just looking to set a higher low, likely to here. So we have a clear downtrend. Take the magnet off. Try that again. I have a clear downtrend. Okay, hit the swing low here, swing high, push down to a significant order block or a significant point of interest. I got the push up to here, which broke this swing high here, which is the change of character. Got the pullback here, looking to get supported somewhere in here, preferably above this swing low right here, and then getting the continuation. That's what you're looking for as far as reversal. That's what I want to see for this trade. Okay, trying to hold support once again on the 9 exponential moving average on the 1 minute time frame. That's a 74.55. Let's look at the depth chart. Start looking at who's buying, who's selling. Okay. Fortunately, you get it. I need to set up the depth chart to be able to be viewed for the entire thing. There are more sell orders for sure. At least there. Let me switch to a different. There we go. That's a little better. Switching to a different interval. Let's go to this. Let's go to the straight up to the penny. So overall, there is more buying pressure overall when you go penny to penny, when you're using the 1 cent intervals on the order book. But that doesn't really give a good indication of what's going to happen in the very, very immediate short term, which is what I'm looking for, because it's, I'm scalping, so I like to keep it on a smaller time frame. Okay, that's not good. That's a rollover. I'm looking to get a higher low here. Honestly, anywhere. I do not want to set a lower low here. That would be extremely problematic. Going to be looking to get some sort of a nice bounce, needing this order block to hold. Okay. There is an imbalance here now on the 1 minute. So I'm looking for that to be closed by this candle, hopefully. Did get bought defended very well just now. That was a pretty quick little push down, and that got defended pretty well. So I actually like this. I like seeing a big bottom wick on it like that. I think that's healthy. I think that shows that the bulls are willing to defend this zone. It also shows that the bulls are all aware of this order block, which is important because my stop loss is below it. Right below it. Okay, a bit of an indecisive candle. Technically, this is a higher low for now. Probably going to get one more test. I bet we do probably come down and test the bottom of the order block. Where's mine? Now, breaking this swing low right here will pretty much guarantee that we are going to come down and try to confirm the overall breakout. Yes. I was definitely hoping to get continuation on this one, though. We still might. I mean, my overall bias for XRP on every time frame is actually very bullish. I think that the pullback that we've just experienced is very, very normal. I think it's very healthy. I think it's to be expected after, rallying 104%. And honestly, in retrospect, the pullback was actually pretty shallow. I mean, we came down to the bottom of the 618, which I think is extremely healthy. I mean, I fully expected after a huge push like that, rallying 104% in one day, I fully expected that we were going to end up back down at the 38, I'm sorry, the 0.236, which would have put us like down at around, I don't know, roughly 55 cents or so, right around there. So, I'm very glad that that didn't end up happening. Okay, so a bit of a double bottom here, slightly higher low. So what this is telling the entire world right now, and it can change, but what it's telling the world right now is that the bears have failed to set to set a lower low. They have failed to push the price below this order block, and they've now done that. What, one, two, three, and now four times. I think that that is setting up a nice sentiment, a nice bullish sentiment to hopefully get some sort of continuation up. But the bulls got to do their part. They have to also set a higher low, or excuse me, a higher high. Like it's not enough. It's not enough just for the bears to fail to do their job. The bulls then have to step in and do their job. But I'm actually not seeing anything that's too terribly alarming here. I mean, we are at the apex of the pattern at this point. I think it's kind of void. I don't really think that. I mean, there's going to be almost there's no room for it to consolidate in here anymore. So it's going to have to make a choice here. If we do reattack this, it is critical that we set a higher low, because now on both reattacks, both bounces from the bottom, the bulls have also failed to set higher highs. So if the bears are whoever does it first in the next few minutes is going to win here, in my opinion. So if the bears are able to take out this swing low here or this swing low here, we're almost assuredly coming down here. But if they can if the bulls can cause a bounce and we can take out this swing high, then I think we're going to get the continuation up. There was no buying pressure on that last candle right there. The bears came closer to setting a lower low than the bulls did to setting a higher high. So there is more selling pressure here in this little order block. It actually does not look like this at all. This had good structure right away on the bounce. This actually doesn't. This actually feels like it's going to push down at this point. But I guess we'll see. I mean, so far that order block has held 5 different attacks on it. Okay. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Bitcoin is at 30,270. It's actually just flipped positive for the day. Solana's having a pretty good couple of days, I've noticed. I'm going to have to take a look at that. 3.68 is what it's up on the day as of right now. At least on MEXC anyways, the futures market. Okay, going to have to get above that moving average. Okay, that's good. Looking for the bullish break of structure here at 74.54. Looking to go ahead and take that out. I'm not going to mark it just because it's not very significant. It's just a good indication that we're going to get the continuation up if it happens. Bears are definitely ahead. Bears are definitely in control right now. In a big way. All right, let's see. Take a look at the order book. Let's take a look at the order book. And let's see what's going on over here. Let's look at the slightly larger time frame. Okay, there's a lot of bulls at 74.30. A lot in that range right there. There's about there's about 4 million there, 3.7 million or so. But for the entire 74-cent range, the entire 74-cent range has 8.8 million. The entire 75-cent range has about 10 million, 11 million or so. So I mean, it's pretty close. It's pretty tight. It's pretty even locked, to be honest with you. Okay, so I'm looking to get a break of this. Oh, let me switch back. So I'm looking to get a break of this trend line right here. I think if that happens, we're probably going to get a nice retest. Right there. One thing's for sure, this is not going to be indecisive for much longer. It's going to make a move. That's a bit of a triple bottom there, though, isn't it? That's actually kind of healthy. I think we have a good chance to break that trend line right there that it's wrestling with. Mostly because of this candle right here. That's got a nice bottom wick on it, and it's a higher low. You know, those types of candles almost always are good indications that you're going to get a move, or that there's at least some kind of good buying pressure at that range. It's going to come right down to the wire. We have actually completed the entire apex at this point. So this consolidation pattern is now over. This little short-term one that it's been doing here, that's now over. I'm not going to clog up my chart like that. You guys are smart enough in the militia. You guys know that there's that descending resistance right there, right? I don't have to keep it on there. You guys are tracking it on your own charts too. If we don't take out one of these swing highs here, and I mean soon, we're going to have a big problem. That's a lower low. So they have a bearish break of structure there. That is a retest of the order block. However, that is a bearish break of structure there. They have not broken this one or this one, but the most important one is going to be back here, this guy. Right there, right at about 74.15. Am I getting any help from any other moving averages? Not on the 5-minute, not on the 3-minute, not on the 15-minute. And I'm nowhere near the hourly. There is a very good chance, actually, that we're going to come back down and confirm this. That makes sense. That move makes sense to me. I would like to just see the continuation now, though. So now we're setting lower lows. That's almost an equal low here. So far, this order block's doing a pretty good job. But, I mean, if the price hits a certain area over and over and over again, eventually it will break. I don't care how strong it is. Eventually it will break if it keeps getting tested. Especially if every time it gets tested, it doesn't go as far away. Like the rejections get weaker and weaker. That little downtrend right there, it's pretty strong resistance. A lot of people are watching this chart right now. A lot of traders are zeroed right in on XRP. Definitely going to need to at least take this out. Now we'll kind of like even the score because the bears just took out that one. So we need to turn right around and take that one out. Which we are very close, which we just did. Okay, and we took out this one. That's good. It's a good candle. Bit of a top wick on there. Don't really like seeing that. But you see what I mean about getting in one powerful move when all your moving averages are like racked and stacked super tight like that. All you need is one big move and it'll get right through all of them. Like just one strong move, it gets right through them. And it's hopefully they end up becoming support. Did we interact with anything else? Yes, so the rejection was here on the 21 exponential on the 3-minute chart. And actually the 21 on the 3-minute is actually a little bit higher than the 5-minute. So right now we are trying to get above that 9 exponential on the 15-minute chart. And we have closed 2 candles actually below, or I'm sorry, 1 candle below that exponential moving average. So, and that's the one that we just closed. So now we're trying to get back above it and get the continuation. Pretty strong resistance right there. Definitely is. Okay. Definitely want to see support here. Gonna want that bullish break of structure of this little swing high at 74.57. That was very important. If that happens, which it just challenged and we broke it. Okay, so now we got to take this out, which puts us right in line with the longer term downward trend resistance. So right here at 74.75, that also lines right up with this. Okay, so we are challenging my entry at this point. We did take out this swing high right here, but it doesn't matter until we break that. Looking for the break. If it does not break, then what I'll be looking for is probably a push down here, forming some sort of a triple bottom, quadruple bottom, with a terminating neckline here. I don't want to call it an inverse head and shoulders because it's not symmetrical enough to do that. Okay. Got about 5 seconds to correct that candle. I would like to see at least a bottom wick on it, even if it doesn't flip green. Okay, that's a problem. That's setting up pretty much the same thing that we had here. So I want to see support here over the previous bullish break of structure on this swing high, and then get the reattack. Definitely going to be some stop losses here as well. People are going short on the rejection on this candle. A lot of people are going short right here, putting their stop losses above this candle. So if we can get above that, that's probably going to be enough to push us through the trend line. A lot of stop losses up there. There's going to be a lot of trend line liquidity. I mean, that's the whole reason I think we had these sweeps down here. We are above the 15-minute 9 EMA. We are above the 5-minute. 5-minute shows a pretty good picture here. We had a temporary death cross of the 9 exponential moving average to the 20. And now we have setting up a golden cross where it crosses back over. That's pretty normal. It's a good sign. We are above the 3-minute as well. We above every moving average? Okay, as of right now, I believe we are above every single moving average, except for maybe some of the larger time frame ones. Way above the 4-hour. We above the daily. Should be. Yeah, the daily's way down there. So as of right now, we are above, I believe, every single moving average. Every single exponential moving average. Nope, spoke too soon. Okay. Not bad. I mean, this is kind of what you want to see, guys. Like, you have a clear downtrend. I have a change of character or a market structure shift here. I come back down. I set a higher low. I start marching up. I get supported over that market structure shift. Set a new swing high. Come back, get supported again, and then try to push higher. Higher highs, higher lows. We're at the end of that consolidation. That's over. That pattern is now, I mean, I don't want to say it's voided. We're probably going to have some interaction with this right here. I don't actually think that we're going to have too much interaction on this. Generally speaking, when you get to the end of a pattern, the previous support, if it had failed and turned into resistance, and you terminate the pattern, like you get all the way past the pattern's apex here, generally speaking, you don't have huge interaction there. The more significant one is going to be what was resistance on during the entire pattern. Okay, that could be nice. Definitely got to come up here and break this, though. Basically at my entry. Gonna need that push. Come on, you can do it. A little bit higher. Come on, no top wick. Perfect. Beautiful candle. Exactly what you want to see. Okay. Challenging the break of structure. Challenging this break of structure here. Gonna have to get above it. Then we have to get above this. Now remember, there's probably a lot of stop losses right here. Just above this candle wick here. So, right here in this range, up to about 74, 78. So if we can get above this little break of structure right there. So we took that one out. That's fine. So if we can get above that, I mean, we're probably going to get a pretty quick move up, I would imagine. Some of those short stop losses are going to get wrecked. And hopefully that's enough to push this price higher, or rather to pull the price higher. We have broken this one here. This is the first sign of good bullish continuation since back here, actually. So, this whole downtrend, we have really been failing to set higher highs. We have continued to set higher lows. And now we are finally starting to set higher highs. So now the bulls are trying to do their job. Okay, there's test of the trend line. Now watch there it is. See it? See how quick those stop losses get wrecked? There's the move. We're up 28 on the trade again. So now I'm looking for the break of structure here, or actually here is probably right there. That's what I'm looking for. And we'll use that one. It's nice. Now we created an imbalance here. Probably going to get some sort of a pullback down to this trend line here. Looking to get supported on that. Okay, so far so good. Like to see a nice bottom wick on this with continuation. We do have a bearish fair value gap here in this area that has almost been mitigated. But I mean, I think you end up with fireworks if we take this out and this out. At that point, I will start adjusting my stop loss. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that now because I'm risking quite a bit. And I have some pretty strong order blocks here to give me some protection right there, for example. Okay, so that's good. So far we've held support after breaking this bullish break of structure level here. I would like to see just a touch of it and not get continuation down. I just want to see it hold this and then set a higher high. Definitely don't want a double top here. I mean, that pattern right there, that little double top pattern right there, that caused a push down here. This double top here did the same thing. Like those two little, two 1 minute candles, one green, one red right next to each other. They are bad news, especially if the third candle in that series ends up being a red candle following it. Or in this case, one with a giant top wick. Okay. The 9 exponential on the 1 minute chart has now moved up to this resistance level here. So that's good. It means that it's trying, will hopefully reinforce the breakout. We are currently above every moving average for XRP. Every exponential moving average. Look at the 5 minute. Okay, so I have the 9 and the 20 exponential on the 5 minute chart trying to offer me protection as well. There is no fair value gap here on this move. It was a very efficient move. I am also kind of protected by the 15 minute. Was that a push? It was not. Okay, so far so good though. We have held support over the breakout, over the descending area of resistance. Gonna need to, as always, start taking out some of these swing highs, starting with these two right here. One second, guys. Okay, we're getting a nice push now. It's a good 1 minute candle. We took out that swing high, so now we got to take these ones out. It's a good candle. Trying to see if there's any perceived resistance. I draw these. I draw the consolidation patterns. I'm trying to keep them on the candle bodies as much as possible, so that I can really see where the buy and sell side liquidity sweeps are running to, as opposed to having the trend lines connect the tops of the wicks as I've done in the past. I think it's actually helpful, and I try to do that as much as possible in order for, support and resistance to make sense. Helps me anticipate where the stop losses are running to, where the price will run to in order to get the stop losses, and they're generally within a few points of wherever that trend line is. They're very tight to the trend line, rather. Okay, getting a retest of the 9 exponential EMA on the 1 minute time frame. bouncing around a little bit. That is a higher high than here. Okay. For some reason okay, there we go. Uh-oh. Okay. Hopefully we just get the bounce here. If not, I'm probably going to get knocked out of the trade. I'm in the wrong order block, actually, now that I think about it. This is the order block I need to be on. Having it here puts me right in the middle of a small 1 minute imbalance, and I'm actually begging to get liquidated. So this is actually a really good candle, really good, because we had the retest of the 20 exponential and then immediately got separation. So I would expect that very, very soon we're going to challenge this right here. So let's go ahead and mark that because that's going to be important. I think that that's probably going to get tested here in a second. Got to close a candle body over that. Okay, one more test. It's a little deeper. Fills that imbalance right there. That's exactly what I was talking about. So my order was here. My stop loss was right here, right in the middle of an imbalance. So now what I've done is I've put my stop loss below this order block. And as near as I can tell, there isn't any significant imbalances that need to be corrected to the downside. I guess there is a little one here. Which is possible. There's a lot of liquidity down here now. A lot of long positions have their stop losses down here now. Even more so than when I originally took the trade. And that's because we've had so many bounces down here, which means people, in order for that those bounces to happen, people had to go long. And it makes sense for them to put their stop losses right below this. So I don't think at this point it would be a good idea for me to move my stop loss down here. Because it would very likely end up becoming a liquidity trap. I would, in order for me to guarantee it, or at least give it the best chance, I would have to, I would have to bring that stop loss down to this range at 72. And I mean, you're talking about, that's like a $500 or $600 loss. There's no way I'm doing that. I'd rather get stopped. I'd rather get stopped where I currently am. Let's see, am I getting any help? Interacting with the 3 minute right now, the exponential moving averages for the 3 minute there. Let's look at the 5 minute. Okay, that is a touch of the, that makes me feel a little better. That is a touch of the 9 exponential on the 5 minute chart, and actually we didn't even touch the 21 there. So we got about 20 seconds left in this candle. Would really, at a minimum, like to see it just hold over the 9 exponential. Ideally, I'd like it to be above this, and then super ideally, I would like it to flip green in the next 5 seconds, but I do not think that's going to happen. I'll settle for just closing over this, which it looks like we have done. Okay, now I want to see it get supported. This is actually a decent confirmation for this consolidation. Unless this is what everyone is watching now, which is possible. That's very possible. Okay. Does that mean that this is now void? That pattern makes sense. It definitely does. Since that's the case, that doesn't explain these here. Doesn't explain this. That's because the price isn't moving based on simple support and resistance. It's moving based on key areas. I'm just using this right here to try to determine what most retail traders are looking at, because it's going to let me know where the liquidity is sitting, where the pools of money are sitting. Right now, the biggest liquidity right now is actually just below this area right here. That's the biggest liquidity. The closest liquidity, however, is going to be up here in this range. All these stop losses right here. So if you get a move into here, I mean, it's very, very possible you get a powerful, energetic push to the upside. Trying to confirm and hold support over these is important. It's looking at the 15 minutes. It's easy to panic when you're very zoomed in. You're looking at very tight time frames. It's easy to panic. But if you zoom out, very often you will see, something that looks really bad on a 1 minute, it looks fantastic on a slightly larger time frame. So I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, when we just had that pullback, we are coming down to test the 9 exponential on the 15-minute chart. But if I look at the 1 minute, it looks abysmal. I'm now below almost every moving average on the 1 minute chart. I really think that's going to stop. Come on, grab it. I'm moving it. I'm going to try to get protected one last time. Let's see if it holds. Okay, so we did not get the breakout on that initial push. So I'm going to keep it here below these liquidity, or below these previous lows, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get an immediate pushback up. I want to look at the 15-minute. I mean, on the 15-minute, it looks right in line with what I've seen over and over again, especially like right here is a good example, right here is a good example. And we only closed one 15-minute candle below that 9 EMA. And it was right at the end of this pattern. There is a very good chance that this holds and I get the push up. That's a big move. Definitely is. 76.92. I mean, that's a decent move right there. That's 3% from my entry. Okay, we're testing that 15 again. Five minutes to go on that. It's a lifetime. The way I have this pattern drawn now makes a little more sense. Yeah, particularly down here. Okay, nice bottom wick on that. Looking for a quick push to get back above all those moving averages. Okay, we're going to finish the move down. Maybe one final, well, I mean, since we did just have a head fake here, it makes sense, that we have one more head fake here. Now, this is a pretty important moment because as of right now, starting from back here, the bears failed to set any kind of a lower low, right? Then the bulls turned around, the bears failed to set a lower low, right? At that exact time, the bulls were also failing to set higher highs. However, after this failure of the bears to create a new low, the bulls did successfully put in a new swing high, a higher high, and they actually took out a few of them. So now, if the bears fail yet again to set a lower low than any of these, then it is very likely that the bulls will step in, because at that point, the bulls are up on the scoreboard, in my opinion. Like the last move, they did their job. On the following move, the bears would have failed to have done their job. So now I'm looking for the bulls to step in. That will empower the bulls. It absolutely will. Now, is it possible that I have my resistance drawn incorrectly as well? I mean, there's definitely a lot of interaction here. But I just want to see which one makes the most sense. So definitely there. I feel like this is the one that makes the most sense. Because I have the touch point here, 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 the head fake here, the rejection there. Rejections here. Tried to hold support and failed there. Followed this trend line, and then as soon as it broke that trend line, it got the push. The pullback came back down to test that trend line. I think that's the more appropriate resistance. I think we're actually out of the majority of it. That's the one that makes the most sense to me. It's a hard thing to do, to try to find all of those connection points because they're not always obvious. I think that makes the most sense. No matter what, we're done with that consolidation. No matter what. Unless, of course, this decides that it wants to use this as a final area of resistance, which it may very well do. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But once it breaks that, there's not really much more that it can do. Like there's not much more strong resistance that makes sense there. This is definitely the strongest of the downward trending resistance lines. This guy right here. It's got the most interaction. I mean, that is definitely it. But this is not nothing either. I mean, when it did try to break there, it did create this stupid resistance, the uppermost area. So that's for the pattern. But for the Fibonacci, I think we're probably in the golden pocket. Yeah, we're testing the golden pocket. So, I mean, so many important areas are being set up here. So if we can get that break, that makes so much sense as to why that's getting rejected. If we can take out this swing high here, yes, if we can take out that swing high there, we will beat the golden pocket, get supported on it, and then right here is also the 786. And after that, I mean, we can start sizing up these 78, 24. As a matter of fact, that's where I'm going to put that. That's going to be my target, actually. That makes a lot of sense to me because if we break the top of this little pattern right here at 76.26, I mean, the next significant area of price interaction on the way down is right there. So yeah, that's a perfect target for me. That's even a little bit below the initial high right before the big drop. So that's perfect. That's going to be my target there. And that will also, that will also get us out of this fair value gap. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's how I'm going to leave that. So we have entered the golden pocket. The bears have so far failed completely to set lower lows. We are done with this initial consolidation. I don't really need this anymore. But that's what it's interacting with, is this little swing high here. Very cup and handle, by the way. Okay, pushing. Going to need to take this out. For the majority of the pattern, the most significant resistance, that is a breakout with confirmation of support. That's a perfect candle right there, by the way. So let's go ahead and take this out, and then this. Okay, good job. We took this out. Now let's take this out. There's the challenge of the trend line and also this little swing high here. There is the bullish break of structure. That's a new high. So the bulls win that little struggle that they were having. So now we have to take out this double top here. And that is also the top of the Fibonacci 618. I will adjust stop loss at this point. I will mitigate. We'll go ahead and make this just below that order block right there at 74.55. Okay, we have broken the golden pocket, or at least we have pierced it. We have not quite taken out that right there. We have tested it. Very, very important area. It's still a good candle even with the top wick. Maybe support on this. Also, we breezed right through that what would have been resistance there. So it ended up being kind of irrelevant. I mean, we were only there for like a minute and a half. Okay, looking to get supported on it though. And more importantly, on the previous swing high here. I think we're about to get a really nice move. Assuming we break the golden pocket, of course. But if we can hold support over this previous swing high here, I don't see any reason that we won't. I think the bulls are pretty excited. Very volatile. Okay, so far it's doing a good job of holding support over the previous swing high. We're up about 36 on the trade now. Part of me wishes I would have gone a little bit bigger on this trade. I did about, what am I set on? 16,472 XRP. Stand by. Need to step away from the video for 1 second, guys, but I don't want to close the trade and I don't want to stop the video. I just got to get snack duty. 1 second. Watch out for that push. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. Okay, we did get the bullish break of structure. We're getting the push now. We're up 80 on the trade, so I will go ahead and start locking in some profit. I will put this here below this order block here, getting that nice push. We are out of the golden pocket. We are looking to challenge some of those key areas, looking for the bullish break of structure there. It's a nice move. Okay, very, very nice. We're up 118 on the trade. I'm going to go ahead and put this actually just here below the 786. Excuse me, below the 618. We are approaching the 786. And actually, I want to give this the best opportunity. So I'm going to put this below the order block, below the 9 EMA. I want to see that get a nice push. It's a good candle. Very, very energetic move. We're up 107 on the trade right now. Looking to get a nice push up to fill the fair value gap. So I really want to see this come up and break the 76.23, because if that happens, it's going to put us, the next area is going to be the top of the 4-hour fair value gap. Definitely a nice move. Okay. The golden pocket is in a very interesting area. It's actually right at 75 cents. 75.02. That's very interesting. That actually is a key psychological area. Because we're still trading under a dollar, the 25-cent ranges, the 25-cent intervals are going to be very, very important. I would not be surprised to see a pullback back down to that 75. Because that was a pretty energetic move. We took out some key areas just now. Number one, we got through the golden pocket. We actually got through the golden pocket with relative ease. I mean, it didn't really take that long. At least the golden pocket from this pattern. So it looks like we are filling the imbalance. It's definitely an imbalance here, make no mistake. Right there. So we mitigated about 40% of it. That's nice. I would like to see that get continuation up now. It's pretty good. I think when we start taking out these two highs right here, where did that get rejected on? So the rejection here, right there, is right in line with these little swing high wicks here, particularly these two. So those are going to be pretty important to break. Textbook move, though. I would like to start getting rid of some of the territories that I have drawn here on the chart, because they're actually clogging it up a little bit more than I prefer. Okay, I will go ahead and get rid of this because it's making it kind of hard to see, honestly. Get rid of that little fair value gap there. And this is just, kind of where we are. We're trying to make our way back up. That's pretty important. Let me go ahead and start doing that. I'm actually going to get rid of all of these because there's something pretty cool happening on a much larger time frame that I want you to be able to see clearly. Okay, I can't get rid of those. Those are my entry and exits. Where we are right now is at I hope you guys remember that I told you that we have a bearish fair value gap here on the 15-minute chart. It's a smaller one. That is what we are testing the bottom of right now. Very important area. Very important area, because the last time when we initially pushed down here and retested the exact price we were at now, it crashed. It crashed XRP all the way down to 66 cents. So this is a very important area for us to break. We do not want to see a ton of resistance here. We don't want to get rejected here. Yeah. That's very cool. Okay, so on the 1 minute, things are looking pretty good on the 1 minute. I mean, staying above the 9 exponential, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. Like, you can't really ask for better structure than that. As long as you're, when cryptos, Bitcoin is very good about this as well. When it's really pushing, you want to see it. I mean, very often it will dance right on and hug this 9 exponential moving average on the 1 minute chart. And every once in a while, it'll give a cool down to the 21. Now, when it breaks that, that's when you got to start moving to larger time frames like the 3 minute and the 5 minute and the 15. You can pretty much consider a rally over when you go to the 15-minute time frame and you start to get continuation down below the 20 exponential moving average on the 15-minute time frame. That is a bullish break of structure of that swing high, though. So even though we are getting a bit of a pullback here, I actually have pretty high hopes that we're going to get to challenge this swing high here. I don't really want this here anymore. Honestly, I don't really want this whole pattern here anymore. I don't really need it. It's kind of irrelevant at this point. Okay, looking pretty good. Bit of a cool off. Going to need a bullish break of structure here at 75.65, which I think we're going to get that. And that will put us right here, right in line with this. 76.24 will be on the table after that. Yeah, I think we're about to get that break over here. Very, very close. I'd be surprised if we don't get it after that trend. All right, so there's the break. So now we are going to start challenging this area up here. Very, very important. So I'll be looking for a reattack here to get supported. But more importantly, I'm looking for that to get taken out. If that happens, it's fireworks. And I think I fully expect that we will go to 78, right around there. Maybe fall a little bit shy, or I'm sorry. I'm actually going to go ahead and put that target there. So I got a great risk reward on this. I mean, it's 6.19 to 1. You know, and actually my risk is 0 because I'm guaranteed a profit. I'm up 187 on this trade right now. I will mitigate because we're showing pretty good structure right now. I will go ahead and stick this at 75.22, and hopefully the order block here will protect me in the event of a pullback. Higher highs, higher lows. That's what I want to see. So we are interacting with this. We are interacting with this swing high right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark that as resistance, because that's exactly what that is. Okay, there's resistance there. Okay. That area right there is actually the area that started the entire dump down. So very, very important that we break it. Very volatile right now. Yikes, trying to enter right now would be almost impossible. You would have to reach really deep into the bear's order book. You know, probably somewhere up here to get an entry. Unless you just did a market order, which is dumb. Don't do that. Guys, do not enter on market orders. Like, if you're trying to take profits, what I'm doing is I'm using my trigger order and dragging the stop loss up as it goes because I want to maximize as much as possible. But if you were to actually use the targets, like let's say my target was like a take profit target was going to be here, then I would actually set a limit sell order for how much XRP I wanted to sell when it hit 62.23. But that's not exactly what I'm doing. I'm given the amount of news surrounding XRP right now and the amount of excitement and the fact that, you know, we held the golden pocket for the last couple of days, I want to use as much of my position to make as much money as possible. So I don't want to because the last thing I want to do right now is I don't want to sell like half my position and make, you know, $75, you know, but you know, then I have guaranteed profit when I can just, you know, and then it ends up ripping, you know. So I would rather it come down and stop me out and I make the $75 that way, as opposed to potentially missing a huge run up with a smaller position. Okay, so that's the first time we've kind of double topped there. Very, very important area. Very important zone. I want you guys to be able to see the whole thing. Let me go to the 3 minute actually. So you can't see the top that I have marked here for resistance because it is a 1 minute candlestick that I'm using to mark that. That looks like it's going to pull back. All right. So I'm trying to protect myself using this order block here in the event of a cool off. Where's the 5 minute? Probably nowhere near me. I don't think that 3 minutes going to do any good either. I don't want to get knocked out of this trade. I really don't. Because, number one, I've been in it for a while. I got quite a bit of time committed to it. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to get a big push here. So I'm actually going to protect myself using the 5 minute 21 EMA. And if I can get that break up there, I will quickly adjust. But there's no way I am allowing or going to be in this trade for this long and make $50 on it. That's not going to happen. Not that I'm trying to hit a home run or anything like that. I'm just, my time is important to me. I'd rather make $400 an hour. Okay, trying to get supported on that 9 EMA there. Pretty dangerous area. Okay, so let's talk about what happens if we fail here, because I want to be prepared for it. Let's try and figure out what's going to happen. So I had this swing high here, came down, chopped around. You know, the majority of the video has been that. So I had the move here, the push down, right there, stair step, finally here, and now there. So let's say it fails. Where is it likely to go back to? Well, my significant areas of resistance were here. So as of right now, this actually hasn't held support. It's actually kind of been resistance. We've only held support on it just a few times. You can see that here in this area. So we didn't hold support on it very well. It doesn't mean that we won't. And actually, now that I think about it, we've only closed since really breaking it. We've only closed one 1 minute candle below that. So technically that is support. Gonna need to set a higher high though. Has to happen. In order to do that, we have to break that. Okay, so you're trying to roll over and set a new low, a higher low. That's what it feels like. So maybe something like that. That makes sense because that is right in line with these little double tops here, right there. So that would make sense. And honestly, a touch of the 21 exponential is pretty normal on the 1 minute chart, of course. Probably means that we're going to, yeah. I mean, this pattern looks fantastic. It does. I mean, it looks super bullish. I mean, it's doing all of the things you want to see it do. You know, break out of a key area, creating fair value gaps to the downside that then get quickly filled, you know, higher highs, higher lows. I mean, that's really what you're looking at here. And that's exactly what you want to see. So it looks like we're trying to retest the 9 exponential moving average on the 5 minute chart, which is okay. There was also an imbalance here, which we have now mitigated. right there. See that? So we got through about 75% of that fair value gap, and we are trying to get back out of it, essentially correcting the imbalance, which is perfect. And I mean, after a move like that, a really powerful move like that, you want to see a cool off after a rejection like that at a key area, so that it can gather momentum. Think of it as a checkpoint, a checkpoint in the race. It rallies, it gets a little tired, it comes back and it rests for a minute, hydrates and then pushes. It's a good bounce. That's a good bounce on the 5-minute chart. I like that. We're up 121 on the trade. Testing these key areas here. Again. So far, so good. Going to need the bullish break of structure here, though. That's going to have to happen. I do not want to get rejected at this level again. We have failed to close a 3-minute candle above this previous swing high here, though. Hopefully this will be the break we need. Looking to break this stupid little trend line here, which is what's getting tested now. Okay, we are back above the 9 exponential moving average on the 1-minute chart. Trying to break out of that. We're up 128 on the trade. It's a decent trade. Up 140. Okay. There is the break of this swing high here. We are looking for the bullish break of structure of the previous area of resistance, 25.88. Believe that means that we did close a 3-minute candle above that. We are about to. So there's the retest. There's the bullish break of structure. We are now challenging that bullish break. There's the break. There we go. Fireworks. Here we go. Get ready. Okay, so we're up 248 on the trade. I'm going to go ahead and lock in some of this. I will put it right here. For now, I'll put it here at 75.43 in case of a pullback. But that is a new high. We just challenged the top of the 4-hour fair value gap. I am looking for the move up to the 1618 from the pattern. Finally, it took a little bit. Okay, so now I'm looking for targets here. The 1618 is going to be a good one there. We're up 401 on the trade. So I'm going to go ahead and definitely lock some of that in. We'll go right here. Right to the top of the fair value gap, just below it. I mean, there's no way I'm leaving that much money on the table. That's silly. Really wish I had gone bigger. I had a good read on it. All right, going to need to close the 1-minute candle a little bit above this and hopefully get supported. Okay. Now show support on the top of the fair value gap and make me $800 would be amazing. We're up 375 on the trade. I'll make like 350 if it gets stopped now, which is good. Okay, but that's what I was hoping for. A bounce on the fair value gap with a new bullish break of structure. There it is. Push, push, push. We're up 480 on the trade. I will start to mitigate. Well, not mitigate. I will start to guarantee a little more profit. So I'm going to make like 400 on this or so, right around there. Hopefully I get the push up. It's very, very close. Very close. Okay, so we're out of it. That was a good trade. Good trade. Let's see. It was up 65% on that trade. That's fantastic, man. Nice trade. Really, really nice trade. Okay. Let's see. Do I want to take another one? Not really. Not really. I want to spend some time with my kids. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope you guys learned something. I am always here for the Menace Militia. I am always here for the Cool Nerd community as well. Please make sure you guys check out Cool Nerd Crypto over there on Facebook. And check me out on Instagram. It's going to be at Market Menace Trading LLC. I appreciate everything, guys. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Get ready for an extremely crazy day. An extremely crazy week, by the way. I think that we're going to probably get some news, or I think we're going to see some really, really important price action that is probably going to change a couple of things. But I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.